Welcome to Rules of Villainy, episode 49, where three new trading card game players quest and challenge their way to the competitive top tables and discuss their opinions on Disney Lorcana. This evening, as always, we'll be covering the latest news in Lorcana, answering your questions, and going over the latest developments in the metagame. I'm Villain Vince, joined as always by my two co-hosts, Villainy Andy and the mayor of Lorcana himself, Brad. And yeah, I saw it in there, guys. I saw it, Jen. I saw it.
You learned. We altered the intro and he passed right over it. By we, I mean me.
Yeah.
Well
yeah,
done.
they wanted me to do some like Anchorman stuff here, and
That's okay.
not today.
We'll get to another time.
They don't call me One Take Vince for nothing.
Lots changed in a week.
After being 10 Take Vince last week. But yeah, how we doing?
How's Andy doing over there in his pool attire? What is
There's
going on?
Villainy. It's summertime, guys. We got the pool outfit. We're hanging out outside. We're getting some sun. Not our car.
For the audio listener, Andy's of course got a hat on as always, wearing shades inside and a nice, button-up pool shirt that looking really snazzy, looking like Ryan Miller over there in some ways, at least in the attire.
What's many of the shirts that they all wear?
I don't know. I'm not gonna give them a shout out unless they give us a free shirt. They're really expensive. And I can't afford them, so I'm salty.
No.
You can find them
It's
really
not
easily.
that you can't afford them. It's that you would rather buy more Lorcana.
Well, I can buy like a whole booster box for the price of one shirt, basically.
It's not that expensive.
There is a really nice
booster box. I could get Inklands. I could get Inklands from Fortuna for the price of a shirt. I can guarantee you, 100%. So
they have a really nice Scar one that I want. It's like
they have a really nice everyone, Brad. They're awesome.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
Just Google Disney button-up shirts, and then you'll get their Facebook ads for the next 7 years of your life. All right.
Also,
every scroll.
That is really true. And I because I click on them all the time,
like true and cool.
I thought he said troll. I thought that's very troll, and I was like, it is very troll of them, Vince. I don't know why they spend so much on Facebook marketing.
But I tell you what, I do like that mug and flag, which I know you had last week. And so we feel very talk show. We need like a studio, now, and Andy's
like Tito had at Ravensburger. Yeah, we just start the Lorcana talk show. Might as well, right?
Yeah.
Laugh track
with the villains.
With the villains.
get the laugh track going.
Honestly, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Maybe we should do that one day as a special.
We get the laugh track and we do that, and then we do that for like years, and then everyone says that it's just a laugh track, and then one time when we get enough money, we recreate all of our rooms on a set in front of an actual live audience, and then we just spin our cameras around live and everyone's there, and it's this big gotcha. You thought it was recorded.
We dream big here at Rules of Villainy.
Yeah, we do. You cannot say that we are small.
It's actually
thinkers.
A new show coming to the Villains Land, I hear, in Disney World, is actually the Rules of Villainy podcast live.
Disney.
Right?
Oh yeah, so we're an event.
We're an event now. Like you go see the birds, like the toucans and stuff that fly around, or like
I think it's taking over the Muppets 3D.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's too soon.
That's too soon.
I'm not making fun of it. I loved Muppets 3D.
I know.
It was really sad to see it go. Yeah, but I saw a meme today where the Spirit Halloween flag was on it.
No. But because they're replacing it, I think, right, with like Monsters Inc.
I thought it was Muppets 4D.
Yeah.
What dimension
doesn't even know how to react to that. he just stopped.
Well, I think one of the theme parks, I don't know if it's a Universal Studios or a Disney thing, but one of them has a 4D kind of adventure or whatever, like theater or something.
They call them 4D when you like the seat touches you and like sprays art spray on you. The Bugs Life one in the tree.
Oh, that's right. Because I was thinking, and I think this dates me a little bit, is that it was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And
that's what. Isn't that what a Bug's Life used to be?
but I think that's what Bugs Life is now.
Yeah.
Remember they had the
So-
playground in the back of I think it was the back of Hollywood Studios, the Honey I Shrunk the Kids playground. It was like you were shrunk, and so you like play on a giant blade of grass and like a straw.
I don't recall. I don't have any. It sounds right, but I don't know if I ever had them. If I ever did that.
It was a lot of fun.
I had to be really, really young. But yeah.
So, well, let's get into Underworld news, gentlemen. Today, as I was napping, we got the Gen Con events release. And boy, did we get some events. I'm still going through my events. I hope they're like still available after this podcast is
Double
over.
booked on everything.
Now, question before we get into them: do these events? I've never been to Gen Con, and I would love to. And now that this has happened, somehow this happened today without me having any know. I don't have a badge to Gen Con, so maybe that's why. But nobody talked about it at all until right now. So I'm really excited to hear about these. But like, do these events sell out to where, like, if I'm considering going to Gen Con now, would I not have a chance to play? You'd shrug. You don't know. Okay.
The answer is, as of last year, they all did sell out.
They all did sell out.
Yeah,
Okay.
it did take some time. And I think, like, folks tend to overbook at Gen Con, so it's not impossible to, like, walk up. Because, so, like, the events might have sold out on the website, but that's didn't necessarily mean that you couldn't go and, like, all the events were totally booked. Much like, if you're going to, like, a set championship, right? It might look like everybody is sold out for an event, but then you go there and they're like, oh, somebody dropped, so you can get booked into it.
There are 88 events, Brad, from Thursday through Sunday. 88 different Lorcana events, 89, and only one of them is sold out, and that's the panel that was already announced a while ago. And so none of the events yet have sold out, but there are some, like, first chapter sealed, first chapter draft. They will probably sell out, right? Because that's getting you some first chapter packs. There's triple deck events,
giving you some first chapter cards right before they get rotated out of the game.
Yeah, after I signed up, I kind of was like, but we want the Elsa anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, triple deck. There was no super seal, which was kind of a bummer. But there's regular sealed for basically every set, draft, core constructeds, starter deck events for like newer players, pack rushes for I believe most of the sets, and then there's a couple new ones, a starter deck chaos, which is everyone gets a random starter deck and one Reign of Jafar pack.
So they did have that last year.
They did have that?
They did have that last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I had not heard of that. That's interesting. And then the quest events, I think, are new, right?
The quest events are new.
We don't exactly know what they are, but they basically say you'll get some packs and you'll open them up and you'll basically have, I imagine, like some sort of.
Well, I can read it actually.
You can read it, but it doesn't really tell you.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's as much as we know, and so we tell our audience. But so Disney Lorcana Pro, this is their description, right? So everybody will get a promo card, the Pluto Tried and True, for all event participants. Each Illumineer will receive quest sheets featuring 6 cards from a specific Disney film or story, and 3 booster packs of whatever set. The one I'm looking at is Arcasia's Island, but they are doing them for pretty much all 6 sets, or all 8 sets actually at the time. You will look through your booster packs to pull out the cards you might already have that are on your quest sheet, and then you'll begin trading other Illumineers to complete your 6 cards. Once you've completed your quest, you will receive an Anna Icebreaker promo card.
Ooh, I want both of those so bad.
So imagine you need a card, and the only thing you have left is your enchanted Elsa. You have to trade it away in order to complete the quest.
It's not going to be like that.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's a legendary card. I bet that's going to be all commons and uncommons. But
no, they're booster packs.
Yeah, I know, but like the quest sheet itself is going to be like.
It sounds like it's going to be.
You have the most likely the ones to get right. They want people to succeed and not be like, you got to get an enchanted Simba.
No, I think they're going to say like you have to get 3 characters from Lion King, right? And I'm just joking that like you've traded and you've got 3 from Lion King, 3 from Frozen, you've got 2 villain characters, and the only character you have left to trade is your enchanted card, and you need to trade it in order to complete your, set. And yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. They're most likely going to be relatively easy. We signed up with a couple other Rules of Villainy folks. Actually, laws of heroism folks. Jimmy.
Yeah.
To do some of these quest events. So we're gonna.
We don't talk about heroes here.
A little bit of insider trading, if you will.
The only time we talk about heroes,
how villainous
here,
yeah,
is when we're plotting.
To
take over.
Well, he doesn't.
Heroes get all the glory. All right.
You got to keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Okay, I'm going in as a spy to hang out with the law of heroism folk. Don't tell Jimmy that. Jimmy, if you're watching, unhear that. Go back a little bit, or skip ahead.
We'll make Jimmy trade his Elsa for.
Nobody makes Jimmy do anything.
No, honestly, you open an Elsa, you just like, sorry, I gotta go to the bathroom. It's real bad.
Yep.
I'm done.
Sorry, guys.
I'm gonna take my packs and leave. I don't need the promo. I lose. GG.
So yeah, you said no super sealed, but they do have triple deck this year.
Let's go.
Oh,
The super sealed makes
deck.
sense, right? Since there's no I mean, that's just so much product to just burn through. If people want to do it,
Costs a lot,
16 packs a person, it's also expensive too.
yeah,
Cost
I
a
think it
lot.
would be very, very expensive.
If there's one thing that these events are, it's awesome, but it's also expensive. They are not cheap. I should say that. I think like a core constructed tournament with like 2 packs per win is like $38.
Yeah,
which is like, I mean, you have a chance to win that playmat, which is really why we are just handing over all of our money. But
the sealed and the drafts aren't bad because you're basically, I think,
getting product.
Like you
Paying
getting
for product.
and stuff. So
we need
they
so
end
much
up
of it
being
too, right?
they end up basically breaking even at worst, and at best you get the playmat, and that playmat basically will be worth
Sell it to Vince for $1,000.
Nope, that's not because I'm gonna get the playmat. I got last year's playmat.
Okay.
I'm gonna get this year's playmat.
Better not join the same events that I'm in, because I'm getting.
That's not how that works, though. You know how that it works by, as long as we don't match it pair into each other.
Yes, it's all 3 and O's, right?
It's all 3 and O's. Yeah. So
it's gonna be like 100 people.
Theoretically, we can't.
Right.
Although I have been last year, Jimmy and I played in one of them.
How'd that one go?
I think he beat me in it. That's
I know
the
he
thing.
beat you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure he did. This is Jimmy we're talking about here.
Sorry,
He's good at sealed.
Wow. He is doing actually a lot of sealed events. But yeah, so it is a little different this year. So they are really focusing on doing the like sealeds and drafts for individual sets, whereas last year they did 2 sets. They did I don't even remember what they called it last year, but basically you did like a first chapter Floodborn draft sealed. Yeah. And then you did a Inklands Ursula's Returned sealed draft. So they kind of paired 2 sets together. But this year they are really separating them out. And there are no multiplayer events this year.
That's a bummer.
Kind of a big sad.
I have a feeling, my theory is that last year, like everything they had one person basically doing like 10 jobs, and so they had to put together some events for Gen Con, and maybe the things like sealed plus draft was just kind of an easy low-hanging fruit to like turn into an event. And now they have a chance, they have more people dedicated to it, they've put a little more time into it and thought, and so they've been able to make these quest events, which are, you know, kind of leading towards what they were talking about last D23, where they were like, we want to have these in the park events. You know, they're giving us this taste of like scavenger hunt. You know, they're able to use triple deck, which is an official format, And I honestly think that multiplayer format is a brewing, and I think I think
I
the
hope so.
format they had before was kind of jank, and they're gonna make an official one.
I love playing multiplayer.
Yeah,
One of my favorite
I think,
formats
and I
for
think there's a
games.
lot of great options for formats out there too, like heroic and whether it's 2v2 or all free for all. There's a lot of
Just playing the 4-player Palace Heist this past Monday night reinvigorated I was like, oh wow, this is actually really cool. Working together for objective. Of course, in the multiplayer itself, we'd be against each other, but working together to take down Jafar was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I do wonder though, this is something that they did have, I think they had last year and they don't have this year, at least that I see, is they did have a Lumineers Quest events last year. This year I don't see any Lumineers Quest.
If I recall correctly, though, I think it's because, or I would imagine that the Lumineers Quest, Ursula's Return, came out about the time Gen Con, or it was fresh at the time Gen Con came out, right?
They came out at the exact same time.
Gen Con and the
like the timing between Ursula's
Return and
because by the time Gen Con gets here, it's gonna be 2 months away, and we're gonna be.
They're announcing Fabled at Gen Con. They've already said they're announcing all of the reprints for Fabled at that panel at Gen Con.
So I guess the Lumineers. It's weird the Lumineers Quest would.
It is weird
because we're still going to be within this. Set,
well, my guess is though, when you think about it, right, a lot of folks already have it. It's It's an expensive event, right, to do, because you're basically the way they've always done it is you buy it and then you play it. And so, what's the like value for it there?
Sure, that makes sense.
So that would be that they've kind of learned, because from what I remember, they did have those events at DLCs too, didn't they? Like the Lumineers Quest.
No, they had Villainous.
Oh, Villainous. That's right. Yeah. And those didn't do very well. And I don't know how well the Lumineers Quest events did last year at Gen Con.
I don't know that they did badly, the Villainous thing. I mean, of course, everybody's there to play Lorcana, but I remember talking to Benny from Overexerted in Seattle, and he just got done playing the Villainous tournament and had a great time with it. So, I mean, those were firing off as far as I know.
Honestly, let us know in the comments below if you want the villains to play Villainous.
That'd be fun.
Because I've got a whole bunch of that.
I think I have all of them.
I used to.
On my shelf.
However, we must say that if we're playing Villainous, there is a difference between the Marvel and the Star Wars ones and the Disney ones. They can't be played together.
Yeah.
So Star Wars and Marvel, I don't buy those ones. They don't count.
Yep.
They're not real Disney.
I used to buy all the Target exclusive ones to get the exclusive piece and everything. And,
I did
we
too.
just never played it. Yeah.
Until I realized it was just like a different color, like acrylic piece, and I was like, "Oh,
I don't do that, but I do have all of the Star Wars and all of the mainline.
Of course you do.
And I do have like the main Marvel set, but it's the one that I've actually never played.
Yeah,
we've got a bunch of them.
I am really excited, though. I do hope we get a 3rd anniversary pin for Lorcana at Gen Con. Like,
sure you will.
The 2nd anniversary, wouldn't it?
Oh, it is the 2nd.
Yeah, the first. Yeah, the first one was the red BLT, and this one was the gold last year
at Gen Con.
Yeah.
But one thing I do want to point out to our listeners here is that as much as Andy and Kirsten give me trouble for additional trading card games to play, what do you have on your calendar there, Andy? And
we're gonna check out the Riftbound, the League of Legends card game. For
we don't
talk
about that here.
One,
beep.
It's an actual good card game.
Oh, I see what this is.
Not Star Wars.
Beep.
But also, we're just gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Go get some. I'm hoping they give us cards, and if they don't, I might. Hey, if you're from Riftbound, don't listen to this part. I might just have to take a card or two. I might just have to like swipe one, like snap the Timo mushroom and just like slide it into the pocket when they're not looking.
I'm sure they will give promos, because when I went to Gen Con in 2023 and I tested out the Star Wars Unlimited, they gave us promo cards
Nice.
for it and stuff. So I still have those.
Before we move on to the Rules of Villainy news, one thing I want you to look out for also there at Ravensburger at Gen Con is I found out recently that the Chronicles of Light board game that they have, which we've talked about on here, a lot of fun. There's a bell pin. Like, I guess it's like a promo pin probably when they played at the Gen Con or some kind of convention. There's a bell pin that's floating around. It's gold. It has her on it. It says Chronicles of Light. If you can get one of those from the Ravensburger booth, I would be forever grateful.
Where does it come from?
I don't know. I just know that it exists, and I want it.
Okay.
I do hope that they bring back some first chapter troves for MSRP at Gen Con.
MSRP.
I would want one of those.
Vince,
too,
I
please.
found you a first chapter trove. All right.
Yeah, but last year they
Christmas
were
dreamland.
selling them. Last year they were selling them at MSRP at the booth.
Yeah, but
You
it
just
was
had to
only
get
like
there
a couple.
early.
It was only a couple sets old.
Because I need it. I need it
For your
for my
collection.
collection. Yes.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy. The market price on a trove is like $20 cheaper than a full booster box of first chapter. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, so you actually get more value out of the trove than you do.
No,
No, it's the opposite.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
trove
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like insanely expensive for
yeah,
some reason. Probably because the only people who want it left are Vince, and everyone's like, "Yeah, we know Vince will buy it eventually. Let's all just mark ours up. We'll get him."
I just want to preface to say I won't.
They don't call him Deep Pockets Vince for nothing.
It's true.
I'm not made of money, even though my background might question that, given all the Lego that is behind me. Listen, I just have expensive hobbies and I live very, very cheaply. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the villain news. Andy, you want to kind of run through this real quick?
Yeah, Kirsten and I went to the Through the Decades tournament, the Lorcana 5K last weekend. It was over 100 people. We did 7 rounds, best of 3.
Where was it?
In Louisville.
Louisville.
Louisville. I was told we pronounced it wrong multiple times by people.
Louisville.
Louisville.
No,
yeah.
not that. Not that one.
Louisville. But
I just want to say to one of our listeners before we move on, the amount of ways you can say that city are a lot, and so I know people are out there that there's like one way. There's like, all right.
If you
when you all get together and you all let me know what the singular pronunciation is as a city.
They wrote it in the Discord for you, Vince.
I'm aware that he did. I'm aware that they did. But I'm just saying that if you go to Louisville,
Boom.
you will hear it many different ways. And you will hear folks who claim to their core that they
You
are
think they walk around? You think they walk around Louisville just shouting Louisville?
Yeah,
We don't do that
I
here
was
in
there.
St. Louis.
That's what they did. That's what they did.
That's exactly
Yeah,
what
Louisville!
they do. Yeah.
Tell us in the comments where you're from, and we'll pronounce it wrong on the next episode.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, let's talk about that 5K. Yeah.
But yeah, over 100 people, 7 rounds, best of 3. It was a ton of fun. Kirsten did pretty good. She bubbled, unfortunately, 21st place. There was a top 16 cut, but there was a ton of people on the bubble at that 15 points. There's even people who ID'd 3 rounds and thought they were going to make it in, and they didn't. So
That's risky though.
Hey, I mean, it's the move you make, and they may not have intentionally drawn all of them, right? We don't know for sure. Some of them could have been unintentional. But Kirsten did great. I'm super proud of her. She was happy with her performance. It was a crazy store. It was like an old trying to think, not quite as big as a Kmart, although they had a bunch of spots that was like blocked off, but it was
it's
huge.
like it was like the size
store.
of a big Petco or something.
Yeah, like a big Petco or something. It was It was huge. But big shout out to Chris from Through the Decades. He was the one who invited us originally. He was there running the event. Also, big shout out to Brandon. This was the judge I met in Atlanta. So Brad will remember this. He went to the Atlanta DLC. Anyone who was there, you'll remember this. It was crazy. It was not a great, it was a poop show, is the term here without cussing. They were telling us about the beginning, how the tournament was going to work, but the microphones weren't working, or like a bunch of the speakers were like aimed the wrong direction. So this back corner of us had like no idea what was going on. And Brandon basically stood in front of the one speaker and shouted all of the messaging to us. And then I saw him again in Chicago, which was awesome. So big shout out to Brandon. He was the head judge there. It was just a ton of fun. I mean, I didn't do so great, but I had, it was a crazy meta. There was just every kind of deck. I expected,
we're going to talk more about it in the main segment.
Yeah, I expected a lot of Amber Steel, which actually did win first place, Amber Steel aggro. But I ended up playing 1 out of 7 Amber Steel, and it was aggro. I was expecting Steel Song, so kind of crazy. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We would definitely go back for sure. Louisville's a great city. Louisville. Yeah, you guys got to come with us next time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm really interested in it. I wish I would have.
They have Wawa there, so 10
back
out
on
of 10
the Wawa.
back again.
But did they have cheesesteak?
I mean, Wawa has a cheesesteak. It's not like...
Did you get it?
Cheesesteak. I did get it. It's not... I mean, like, it's a... You know, it's what you'd expect from a deli. It's not like whiz without, but like, as far as like, it's the only like non-real cheesesteak I'll eat, actually.
I think though, for the set Reign of Jafar, we should say, instead of like poop to, say what the, not to curse, we should use a card, like the worst card of the set. And I would propose television set.
Television set?
Television set is not a good one.
It's not a great... I mean, it is in a puppy deck. It's pretty nice.
No, it's not in a puppy deck.
Bongo.
Don't put that in there. It's not good.
Why? Why is it not good?
It costs you 3 to play it, and then 1 ink to use it. Then if you're looking for puppies on turn 4, bro, you're not playing that. You're never playing that on curve. You're never playing that card at all.
And then we've got some upcoming events. So one here is we have a local World's watch party. Sorry, I didn't expect that to go into such a tangent. But then
television set
Brad
me, Brad.
is really into the puppies deck. But so we've got the local watch party, World's watch party at game night here in the St. Louis area. And if you're out there, listeners, you should come join us. What date is it? It's the Saturday.
It's the 29th. It's going to be the Sunday, the day 2, where we actually see the winner get crowned. The only reason I can't do the full weekend. My birthday's on Saturday. I would have loved
Happy birthday.
The Saturday of the Worlds, 2 weeks from now. But I wanted to leave that open. Just I share a birthday with one of my really good friends, and I know Emily wants to do stuff, go out to dinner and everything and stuff. So I didn't want to spend the whole day. I'm going to be checking in. I'm going to be watching. I'm super excited about Worlds, but I figured, you know what? If I'm going to host one, I'm going to try to do it on the 29th where the winner gets crowned. We can just play some casual Lorcana. It starts super early in the morning. So I'm going to bring in some donuts. I'll probably order lunch later on for everybody, and it'll just be a good time hanging out, watching some good Lorcana. Paul, one of our listeners and a really good player here in the community, is going to bring a projector and an audio system to watch it on there. We're going to be watching in style. And it's all still developing, but really excited about it. I just got the promo out for it last night, actually, or earlier this week when you're listening. And should be fun. Should be really fun.
Sunday.
Yeah.
At game night. And then we have the Jackson Warren Memorial Tournament. Andy, what date is that?
July 12th through 13th.
12th and 13th. 2-day event, $1,000 plus in prizing at Impact Gaming Center in Fairview Heights, Illinois. We've said it a bunch already. We will have more details as they come. Tons of door prizes, side events. There will be multiplayer events. So, Vince, I know you were sad that there were not multiplayer events at Gen Con.
Yeah,
That
but
is
we'll
fine.
be casting, so I can't play. I gotta cast.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like
I could cast for you.
yeah, we could fit you in. We could try and fit you into the multiplayer tournament. We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see what we can do.
We're there to have fun and help out and help promote. And
But I like
Yeah.
casting. I'm a big fan of casting.
But if any of
I
you
like-
are like
Okay.
Vince and are sad that there's no multiplayer at Gen Con, you can come on out. Or actually, if you're going to Gen Con, you can come on out anyway and practice. Get some practice. Try and win one of those mats at Gen Con. So yeah, Impact Gaming Center, Fairview Heights, Illinois. Link in the description. Yeah.
Yep.
And then last up, we have going this weekend. Actually, when you're listening, they're already on their way there. Is we got ROV Reckless Ron and his wife ROV Britt are going to CCS this weekend. So we wish them the best of luck, and we're excited to hear about how that goes.
Yeah, I think that'll be streamed by 20 Lore Pro, right?
I think so.
It'll
We'll
be
link
streamed by
in the
someone.
description below.
We'll figure it out, yeah.
We'll find
The
try to
thing.
link
Or-
for you.
We'll try to.
Follow along with that. That'll be fun. I'm gonna be watching that.
Yeah.
He's been practicing hard for it.
Yeah.
I'm certain I know what Britt's playing, and she's been doing really well the last couple of months with it. So Ron updated his deck and doing a lot of practice. I'm rooting for him.
Let's go.
We're not going to talk about any of that though, because we want them to have the best success possible.
Oh yeah.
At CCS. But before we move on, I just want to take a second to remind our listeners, you who are hearing this or watching this on YouTube, to please like and subscribe to the Rules of Villainy on whatever platform you're on. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon. If you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, hit that like button, or go and follow us wherever that might be, because we appreciate your support and it helps the algorithm.
We do have listeners on Pandora.
Yeah, I met our only Pandora listener through the decades. They said that they don't appreciate the sass that Vince gives towards the Pandora listener. There are some people that just, I don't know. I guess they said their Walkman doesn't get any other channels besides Pandora. So I don't really understand the technical details of it. But they said, lay off, Vince. Be nicer.
I'm just suspecting that actually the person that listens to Pandora is a time traveler and just happened to go, and then they go back to their home in the year 2007, and that's the only access to
Emily's
this podcast they have. Somehow this travels has time, so thank you.
Yeah, Emily, I brought this up the first time we brought up Pandora on here. She still has a massive Pandora playlist that she's just added songs to through the years. So she just plays that, and it goes from Green Day to Ed Sheeran to R&B, like just it's a whole smorgasbord of everything she
R&B?
likes. And
R&B has
not Ryan, but maybe if he has another career as a
bald hits,
bald beats
by R&B.
Yeah.
Bald beats. Well, let's move on to quest or challenge. So we only have one question here, gentlemen, and that question, not really question.
It's more of a statement.
I'm aware. Thank you.
It says right on the paper, statements, Vince.
I know. I probably wrote that, to be honest with you.
Off the rails tonight.
All right. Here we go. Triple Deck is the greatest version of Lorcana ever.
Yes. Next question. No, I'm serious. Yes. Next question. What's the next?
So you said yes. That's not an answer. So you're questing here. Come on. You're going to get on me on the rules, and then you're not even going to follow the rules.
Yes, we will quest. In fact, we're going to quest. We're going to play Fan the Flames, and we're going to quest again. Actually, that's not illegal move. It's an aerial. We're questing, and then we're playing an item. We're questing again. We're playing another item. We're questing again. We're doing this as many times as we can. At least 3 times.
Yeah.
Triple times.
All right.
Triple times. Yeah. I think it's too early to tell. But as from the weekend that Andy the stream that Andy watched was literally commentating in our Discord about how awesome it was. I'm intrigued. Like I've been intrigued since they announced it, and I think it has potential over the course of time. As I see it myself, I could see myself aligning with that as well, just because it enables so much more to happen in the game that has been hindered by just meta decks the entire time. As you guys know me, always playing Blurple, Red Fossa, Wonderland, all this stuff that might have a fighting chance now that you can basically set aside a deck to play against, in the matchup. So I'm excited to play in it. I'm excited to watch it, and I think in time it could be the very best format. But we'll see.
Yeah,
the like most common crazy deck, Amber Ruby aggro with the Minnie Mouse bodyguard, the 0/8 that I'm pretty sure I said was terrible, and it still kind of is in my opinion, but worked great in their scenario. And then the winning deck, Emerald Steel, and you're thinking, man, discard, won it again. Nope, Mickey
Pirates.
Mouse.
Mickey
Mouse, the Mickey Mouse Emerald Steel deck that plays Hades, Brad's favorite card, the one from the new playmat, right? You always talk about trying to get that card to work, and then Mickey,
I wanted
which
to
is
try to get
Brad's
it to work,
other
you talked
favorite
me out of
card,
it.
and Trumpet Mickey, which is Brad's other favorite card, and now
I
Giant
like
Mickey.
fun cards. Come on.
Yeah,
Sue me.
my answer here is that I tentatively kind of want to challenge, but ultimately I think I'm gonna pass because my biggest concern with triple deck overall is that it may just be too expensive of a format for folks.
But it isn't. The cards these people were playing with were so cheap. I mean,
Yeah,
this guy had
but
Emerald
I
Steel with no
think-
Diablo.
I
It's
think
probably
we
like a
need to
$70 deck.
I think we need to see it more and see how it develops.
It could have also been
because I could see it developing in the way that you're saying, which it makes other decks more viable. And if that's the case, that's awesome. That's cool. I could also see it develop in a way where decks we now have a meta format of triple deck. And here's the thing is that if those decks become good and you see them play and this format becomes viable, then those cards actually get more expensive. So then a lot of cards in Lorcana become more expensive.
Cool.
So I'm just saying, I have some reservations. I am excited to try to play it at Gen Con. I'm excited to see it at Worlds. I'm just not ready to say that it's the best.
I think
Lorcana
the Mickey deck, like Andy brought up, the no Diablos, and nothing that you would expect with a meta Emerald Steel. And it's not because those cards are somewhere else. It's because that deck could be whatever they want. It's all color, all 6 colors. But what just dawned on me as well is that, like, if the other person is expecting, like, they know that you have Emerald Steel, they're expecting the Diablo deck, and then when they get paired up against that, they're like, oh, wait a minute, I don't know how to play against this, right? It opens up the door to so many surprises, stuff that, like, they might not be as experienced with the deck that they're playing because of the deck that we're not saying banned. It's what'd you call it earlier? Benched deck. That, the players got to be more familiar with these decks, so they're practicing more and more and it just getting more and more Lorcana being played. But at the same time, there's another layer of, like, hey, I could build this Emerald Steel and they're going to think it's this deck, but it's actually something else that, that's going to completely throw them off.
Yeah. But I think that only works like once, right?
They only have to play it once.
So first off, it's open deck. At least it was at World Class.
So they know all the cards.
So they see the deck list before they play. However, it is not a matter of the element of surprise. So there's these couple different strategies to triple deck that basically you either play like all meta decks. So that is expensive. So you look at the core constructed meta decks, you find the 3 best, and you just play all of those, and all of those decks are good into other decks, and they, it's like you're just playing a bunch of regular tournament games. Or you can go this other strategy where you basically build 3 decks that all have the same game plan, and they all work great against everything but one thing. And then you ban that one, you bench that one thing. So typically, like in this case, a lot of people were doing steel. So steel was the biggest disruptor to aggro, and so people would play multiple hyper aggro decks and then bench your steel list, and you would have no way to really fight back as to how fast they were going. So it allows you to play like a ton of different things, and you'll always be able to play newer stuff. It takes the 5 or 6 decks that can play in Core Constructed and opens that up almost triple to have all of these different other lists.
I like that they know the colors. I don't like that it's open deck list. I don't think. I still like that element of the unknown of like going into a matchup,
But
right?
it-
Like,
The unknown.
The
I
person
knew you would
basically
do it.
couldn't do anything about it. He Hades'd a little Mickey, the 1-drop sticky Mickey, to play the
Yeah.
10-drop 5 quest bodyguard that deals 5 to all opposing characters. And then they quested for 5. The following turn they quested for 5 with that Mickey, and then used the Hades to banish that Mickey to play a sticky Mickey so that they could wipe the opponent's entire board. And then they quested with everything they had. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in a game of Lorcana. It was
Is
crazy.
this still on YouTube?
It's on Twitch, I
stream on
believe. You can
Twitch?
go back and watch the VOD. It was pretty
I
sure it was
have
in
to
the
see that.
finals.
Yeah.
Pretty
That's
sure it was in the
incredible.
finals.
Now
It was
I'm actually like
crazy.
curious. I kind of want to see
That
this.
player is my hero.
Insane.
All right, let's move on to Constituents Corner. Take it away, Mr. Mayor.
Sure, we got a question from Jackalope Spam who corrected us on Louisville earlier this week. Deck building question. We're now 2 sets into the dual inks. Both sets have had 4 dual ink cards, each where 3 of the 4 are meant to work together and often match a franchise. If you were making a theme deck starting from those 6 dual ink cards, which color pairing would you pick?
So I had to bring these up. Do you know what they all are? So like
Yeah.
Amber Amethyst is Madrigal plus Pascal and Pua. And then what is it? Amber Emerald is the Lady and the Tramp.
Dogs.
All the
Lady and the
dogs.
Tramp, Yep.
And then Amber Amethyst Emerald is all Cusco, right?
Yes.
It's Cusco stuff with the couple extras. And then what is Amber Ruby? Is this Racers?
It's Racers.
Fix It Felix and Racers.
Amber Sapphire is Puppies, and Amber Steel is
Amber Sapphire is
Is it
Puppies.
Bolt? It's Bolt. Yeah, it's Bolt.
Amber Steel is Bolt. What about Amethyst Ruby is, what is this? Mother Gothel? Madame Medusa? Madame Mim?
It's
Hades, villains?
mostly villains. Yeah,
Those
there's
are
no
villains. All
actual
villains.
like movie theme there.
Okay.
But
And then,
All right. Well, so then
and then
we don't even need to go over the rest
Aladdin.
of them. The Rules of Villainy official response to this is Amethyst Ruby. Villains is the theme. That is our official answer.
That's not my answer, but it's a good
okay,
answer.
Anyway, Emerald Ruby is, what is this one? Mad Hatter, Queen of Hearts.
Yeah,
Alice in
Wonderland.
right? And then Elsa and
That's
Anna
most interesting
Frozen
to me.
is Blurple.
That's the best
Emerald
one. in my opinion.
Sapphire is Baymax.
Big Hero 6.
Ruby
Yep.
Well,
Sapphire
it
is
is
Beauty and the Beast. Bolt.
Yep.
Oh, and then
And Blue Steel, Sapphire Steel is like Aladdin / Ally synergy.
Amethyst Steel is
No,
Aladdin.
Amethyst Steel is Aladdin.
Illusions. Well,
Illusions.
Amethyst Steel is Illusions, and then
Well, it's
Blue
Aladdin.
Sapphire Steel is like Aladdin, Jasmine, Ally synergy stuff.
Sapphire Steel is Jasmine. It's mostly
There's
Jasmine.
there's a lot of like ally synergy. If you have allies on board, do this.
Ruby Steel is Mulan, right?
Yep.
And then Emerald Steel is Pirates.
Pirates, and that's also a lot of fun. So
Okay.
I think we named them all.
Did we mention Beauty and the Beast with
Red, blue.
Ruby Sapphire.
Yeah, Ruby Sapphire. So I'm just.
It's an
going through my
interesting one.
binder.
One of our locals was actually playing that deck, Ruby Sapphire, with all of those tools at the collector store a couple of weeks ago, and I found it because I didn't know what he did on turn 2 or something. maybe it was turn 1 where he actually used the unconventional tool and did all this shenanigans. More stuff was on the board than I was ever expecting playing a regular Ruby Sapphire that I was used to, because banishing the unconventional tool brings back or reduces the cost of characters by like 1 or 2 or something. I don't know. But I was like, what the heck is going on? I've never seen that before. And playing the shift bell and doing some wild stuff with it, I was actually kind of impressed. But that's one of the lower tiers of the ones that I'm interested in. You guys know me. I think Frozen Blurple deck, they've been leaning into that for a long time, and I think that those cards are a lot of fun. The Lady and the Tramp I haven't got enough playtime with, but of course excited because Scotty Watch baby Jock is in the game. But I also really like Emerald Steel Pirates. I've been playing Carson's version, or I was playing Carson's version all through Asia's Island. I never actually unsleeved it. It's day 1 Emerald Steel Pirates, and I'm sure there is even a better version out there now with the new Captain Hook shift and
the Pirate King.
The Pirate King himself. Andy's got the Enchanted.
Do you really?
But, yeah, he pulled it at the Bodax sealed event on launch weekend. So I was sitting there across from or diagonal from him.
Speaking of that, I'll be there tomorrow.
At Bodax?
Yeah, since I didn't go to Fortuna.
But to answer Jackalop's question, it's those 3 for me is the Pirates, the Dogs, and Frozen. But there are, I mean, I'm interested in the puppies. I've always liked the puppy deck. I don't how far we can take that deck, but there are some pretty cool tools in it, especially with the new Ludwig. The Sapphire Amber Ludwig is menacing, and the patch even on turn 1 to accumulate more lore. The more puppies you have on board, sitting there with ward on him until you're ready to quest him. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff there. And I think Triple Deck, as we just talked about, enables people to play more of them. Wonderland. Oh, Wonderland. I take that back. Wonderland is one that is really interesting to me as well. I've been trying to make that work for 2 sets. The
Brad,
Ruby.
there's only like 7 more. You want to name all of them?
Yeah.
Just name
I mean,
all of
I
them
think
real quick.
Brad's like, I'm gonna do them all. I love them all.
All of them.
You know those are my 4. Those are my 4. I don't know in what order, but yeah, those are my 4.
So yeah, in case anyone missed it, the question was, if you were making 4 theme decks starting from those 6 dual ink cards, which color pairing would you pick? All right. So for me, my top 4, this is probably going to take like 30, 40 minutes here. Just
all right. And we're now moving on to the main segment.
No, but I'll be quick.
I want your answers. Yeah.
Cusco is awesome. Like, I think thematically, like I love Cusco. There's not like a Stitch themed one, so I definitely love me some Emperor's New Groove. I was trying to look through these a lot, like real quick here, to try and see which one is like actually the best. So there's only 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards in each, right? So 8 times 4 is not enough to make like a full deck, but like which one would I want? And I'm not gonna lie, I honestly think Amber Sapphire might be kind of cracked. Like if I just had to take just the dual ink cards and make a deck of just those dual ink cards and go against other decks of dual ink cards, I don't know. I mean, like, this is pretty good. So I kind of think that one might be the best. Blurple gets a shout out as well. Ruby Sapphire gets a shout out for Beagle Boys. Amber Steel might also be pretty good, but
I'd like to add one more. I forgot about Racers.
Nope.
Racers.
Sorry. Nope. Because I have to answer the question.
Yeah.
And my answer is the Madrigals, I think.
Wow,
Yeah.
I just
think
think
it's
4 Madrigals. It's like the worst one, I think.
I don't know. I
don't know about that.
I don't know that it's the worst one. I agree that it's not the best one by any imagination of the stretch, but I think it's a fun thematic one, and I really do kind of hope that I would love to make like a Madrigals deck, because I tell you what, one of the decks I have the most fun with is my Brooms deck as a fun theme deck, and so I really want to find like another fun theme deck, and the Brooms deck is actually like pretty solid as a deck to play. You know, is it the best deck? No, but it's a fun deck to play. So
but
yeah.
also
Clara-
yes.
Clara Sir, she was on a stream with Katie in the middle of Arcasia's Island and mentioned a Madrigal deck that she built, and I tested it out and had a lot of fun with it. And I think it only got better than said. I would like to see more people playing it, and if I had time to play all 7 of these decks that I've named in this segment,
Yeah.
I certainly would, because they're all really, really interesting.
Clara
All right.
was. I'll give a shout out to Clara. She they were casting the world class cards
Mhm.
event. However, this is obviously not their fault, but there is a 20 Lore Pro Twitch channel, and there is also a 20 capital O Lore Pro Twitch channel. They have 2 Twitch channels. And I'll tell you what, trying to tune in to that event while on the way home from Kentucky was very, very confusing, because I couldn't for the life of me understand why every time I'd go to watch the stream, it was like an entirely different stream. Like, what happened to the game I was just watching? These are 2 entirely different casters. And so once I figured out, it was great. I mean, we had 2 feeds. 2 feeds was awesome. But yeah, that reminded me, Clara was doing one of the castings on that.
So what you're saying
Well.
is that we now need to formalize Laws of Heroism as our second tier casters.
As our second stream.
Like our like
No, it's Rules of Villainy, but instead of an O for of, it's a 0. It's just like really hard for people to tell the difference.
All right. Is there any other questions, Mr. Mayor?
Nope, that's it this week.
We need
All
more.
right.
So if anybody would like their questions answered, please join our Discord. Ask them in the Constituents Corner channel. Ask them in the comments below, or check us out on our socials, where you can reach us all in any time. Back to you, Vince.
At Rules of Villainy.
Yes.
At Rules of Villainy.
Main segments.
All right. So
yeah,
triple deck
go ahead.
format is the greatest format ever, as we've all realized.
Deja vu.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
No,
Well, first, actually, before we move on to talking more about the triple deck format, I actually want to. This is where I kind of want to break down into Andy's mind here of what happened at Through the Decades. So, that was like early meta. You took your Ruby Sapphire deck.
Ruby Amethyst.
Ruby Amethyst. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Yeah,
So
Ruby Amethyst.
I practiced against Kirsten extensively, and she settled on Amber Steel, and she was running like a more traditional, but with instead of a whole new world, she ran the Horizon, Beyond the Horizon package with that You Have Forgotten Me, that discard. So, and she was basically cooking me in practice every single round. I just couldn't beat her with any deck at all. It was beating both Burbs decks, the Amethyst Emerald and the Emerald Steel. I couldn't beat it with Ruby Sapphire. The discard was just too brutal. To go Cindy and then Turtle Boy and then Sing Horizon on turn 3 was just like, there's nothing I can do. So I went back to Old Faithful, Ruby Amethyst. The same strategy as we did with Bucky is you only play things that recycle themselves, and you just play a ton of things that draw cards or are very specific answers. So I'd have, ideally against Amber Steel, I'd have like a Diablo into like a Cusco. But into other matchups, I could use a Snake or a Pegasus. I also have Pegasus in the list, and Chernobogs. And then really the only like win condition I had was the Shark, right? We had 4 Sharks and like actions in there. I got to use one of my DLC Dragonfires. Let's go. But ultimately, I teched my deck the night before at like 1 a.m. I built it up and put it together. I went
And
over
you added 12 more cards.
not 12, but I did go over 60 so that I could play.
Wait.
I went over 60. I wanted to play Lady Tremaine because I have the Enchanted. And I wanted to play Super Goof, Super Peepo because I have the Enchanted. And so I just added those in at the last minute. And then put the deck together, did no testing with it whatsoever. Hoped and prayed that it would be able to beat the discard of Horizon. Showed up at the tournament and didn't play a single deck that had Horizon. Sorry, I played one deck that had Horizon in it, but it was a homebrew aggro mid-range amber steel, and
so you
they
still lost.
no, I beat them, but they didn't have they didn't get to play it. They had like it was a very weird build, and after the fact, they told me they were like, I think I should have played a whole new world in this deck instead of Horizon, because there were several times where they wanted to hard cast a whole new world, and they probably would have won if they'd done that. But instead, they had a Horizon in their hand, and they didn't have 7 ink, so you can't hard cast it.
Yeah, that's rough. That's definitely
sounds
rough.
like my Chicago trip for you though, where you teched specifically against discard, and as did I playing Sapphire Steel in Chicago. Faced Bucky one time.
Yep.
One time. Which is probably good. I don't want to see Bucky, but at the time I was teched heavily to just, prepare to take him down. I'm gonna lose cards, but I'm gonna refresh my hand and be fine after that. But saw him one time and got smoked.
Speaking though of Super Peepo,
we got one from Ryan, right?
We got all our Italian
the
Super
actual
Peepo.
Am I the only one
audio
who's
listeners were all holding up
actually
the
focused?
Italians.
Yeah, yours is the only one that focuses. I need to figure out how my camera can focus. I know it can do it.
I need a better camera, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Ryan, for providing that.
Yes, thank you, Mr. McRib, Mayor of McRibville, the ketchup man himself.
Ketchup Ryan.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun. I teched for this Horizon discard deck, and I never saw it whatsoever. I went 3 and 4. I think realistically, I could have gone 5 and 2, which was the same record that Kirsten went. There were 2 games where I felt very, very, very unlucky. One of them was an aggro match where in game 3, I got like 4 uninkables, and the other cards were all like 3 or 4 cost as well. And so I just had to like ink and pass, and they just had almost they didn't even need to have the nuts draw. They just had like almost the nuts, and it was like really unlucky. So maybe with a little better cards, I could have gotten through 2 of the matchups. There's another one where it was against another like Steel Song mid-range style, and they I just couldn't find the cards when I needed them. But I had there was other matches where I just like I knew I had lost. I played an Emerald Sapphire items list. Have you seen this? The Aussie OTK.
Yep.
So it's just like Oswald items. They just like ignore you and play like a billion items and draw. The one game I thought I had, I did take it to 3 games, although they had a misplay in one of the games that allowed me to win that one. But the one game I thought I had them, they ran out of cards in hand, and I was like, okay, I have cards and they don't. I'll just keep playing cards, keep my hand healthy, and quest. And they like top decked a workshop. Played a workshop. Next turn, top decked an item. Played that workshop, draw a card. Played another item, workshop, draw, ink. I'm just like, oh my goodness. And next thing I know, they had a full grip of cards, and I was just all I could do was try and get to 20 as fast as I could. And my deck definitely was not tech to go fast. It was tech to go very medium, very average speed. Just chug along. Kirsten's deck did really, really well. She went 5 and 2. She, I think, lost to Blurple and to like a Ruby Sapphire deck. If you don't hit that Horizon on them at the right time, you can definitely have a problem. I think the Blurple player had like all of their Hades, which was really unfortunate in one of the games. But yeah, it was ultimately a lot of fun. I was just so surprised at how many different decks I saw and played against, really.
Yeah. It just really does go to show that the meta is ever evolving and really healthy meta game. I am curious to see how the still ways away. So I don't want to it's not a doomerism here thing at all, but I am curious to see how the meta shifts as we go into Fabled when we knock out the other four. Can you hear Cassian in the background?
Yeah, the whole episode.
Now.
Sorry.
I see you both, for our audio listeners, I'm seeing both Andy and Brad just laughing.
I've been trying to hold it in, man. That cat is hungry.
He's fine. He's eaten. He's totally fine. He just wants attention. And so I have him in the I have like two pet gates on top of each other. Because I had one and he would hop over it. So I have them attached to the top. And so I put him in the living room where he's got plenty of stuff. But if I had him in my office, as you both well know, he would bite me during the podcast. Because he just wants attention. But yeah, so I'm curious though how the meta will shift going into Fabled, as a whole bunch of cards will exit the meta. But right now I'm really, really excited about how the meta has gone. One thing I did want to ask you, Andy, for our listeners who might be new to the trading card game space, this being their first trading card game, what does OTK mean?
One turn, I think it stands for one turn kill, I guess. Yeah. Or one turn knockout.
OTB in this.
No, one turn knockout is what it stands for. I think so. It's not kill. We don't kill anything here. We banish them. But yeah, it's basically you win in one turn. So the Emerald Sapphire prevents you from winning. It uses Belle and Scrooge to come out and try and bully the board. It'll use Under the Sea to do a board wipe. Along with the Sapphire Coil to do that board wipe. It'll also use Galactic Communicator, which is an interesting one. It's a 2-cost uninkable. Pay 1, banish this item, return chosen character with 2 strength or less to their hand. So that's an interesting one. You can use that with the coil as well. And then the Rat Trap, Ratigan's Marvelous Trap, which is banish this. Each opponent loses 2 lore. So you banish the rat traps, you get them back with the crab, you play them again, use them over and over again to help keep their lore down. And you just, in the meantime, your draw engine is playing items, which items like the Popsicle and the the Hidden Inkcaster, 2-cost, draws a card. Plus the Workshop draws even more cards. You just constantly play items and items and items, and you keep them off winning. And then eventually, one turn, you play Tamatoa, you use the dime, and you gain 20 lore instantaneously.
I think we saw on Deck Test Tuesday, you flipped a dime with Oswald. Turn 3 or 4, didn't you? It was not good.
Better lucky than good. Yeah, that's fun.
That's what we say. Yeah, so the deck I currently have built right now is a Amber Steel deck.
Aggro or Steel Song.
I know what the catalyst of this is too.
What's the catalyst of it?
You came to Game Night Monday and watched Jimmy just mollywop with his. You're playing.
Oh no, actually, I had that deck built to play at Game Night, but I was so committed that I hadn't played the Lumineers quest for Reign of Jafar that I wanted to play it instead.
Sure.
But yeah, no. Actually, no. Kirsten is the catalyst for this because she's had such great luck with that deck. I mean, I think she has some rough days, so I'm sure she'll admit. But
she did on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, she wasn't doing so great. I whooped her butt. And then today, before the podcast here, she wanted to practice again, and I said, what do you want to play against? You play your Amber Steel. What do you want to play? She's like, I need to beat Ruby Amethyst. Play your Ruby Amethyst. I need to be able to beat that.
Tenacity. I love it.
I think we played 7 games. She won 1. I just just stomped.
Yeah,
And honestly,
I
it was
just
really shocking too, because there were several times where there was one time I mulliganed 5 and got 5 uninkables, 3 Peter Pans and 2 B preps. And I was just
oof.
like, what am I supposed to do? I still won the game. It was like,
Wow.
and
Yeah,
she Horizon that one too. She Horizon 2 B preps away. And I was like, doesn't matter.
I just think though there are some decks you've got to like know that you're not good at, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, and those are meta calls, right? So like, you don't take that deck to a meta where you think you're gonna run into a bunch of Ruby Sapphire, or you're just like, you know what? If that's what happens, like I'm just unlucky, and that's where that goes. But if deck is good against pretty much everything else, it's a good deck versus maybe having a more of a coin flippy deck. So I mean, my thing is, my question to you, would you still stick with Ruby Amethyst right now?
I don't know. I might try it again if I can't. If I don't get comfortable in something else before then, I would probably just sort of go back to that. I really want to play a later game deck. I want to play a deck that has a lot more decision points, that sort of finesses their way through the beginning of the game to be able to just sort of dominate the later game. Ruby Sapphire was a lot of fun last set. Ruby Amethyst, I think, is very, sort of steady train going along, but I don't know. It would really depend.
What are your thoughts? Do you have any desire whatsoever to try out the new Ruby Amethyst cards? I mean, we're going to be getting
Like what?
Assumedly a lot of rotation here, rotated out here in the next set. Like all of what we talked about, the dual inks earlier, all of them have a lot of damage removal, kind of do damage to remove damage, and so on and so forth. Is there any interest in incorporating any of those?
Potentially, but here's the biggest thing, right? Is that the 5K I played this weekend, all of the Gen Con events, CCS, none of those have rotation in mind at all. So for me, I've basically just been ignoring rotation. At Gen Con, they'll announce all of the cards, and then at that point, I actually have the information that I can use to start brewing some things. There was during the Lorecast, when they were talking about Whole New World, there was people in chat spamming, is a Whole New World getting reprinted? Is a Whole New World getting reprinted? And I think we learned it's not, right? Which is kind of shocking given the promo. But
yeah. But that's the reason why,
even without the promo, it's shocking to me that a card like that wouldn't get reprinted.
They said we're going to announce the reprints at Gen Con, and then people spammed the chat, is a Whole New World getting reprinted? Is a whole new, and I'm like, what does this information get you? Are you like going back to your like testing group and being like, guys, a Whole New World is not getting reprinted. Let's completely break the meta, assuming a Whole New World is not in it. Like, there's still hundreds of cards you don't know yet. Like,
right.
So for me, it's not really worth the mental exercise of trying to figure it out. But yes, I would love to play some of those cards. Kirsten played the Mother Gothel. It's a great success at in the it is escaping me now, Lorcana Heats event.
Yeah.
Right. The
tag team, Chippendale tag team.
Chippendale tag team classic. Thank you. It was escaping me, but it's
I want to say Questlemania, and I'm like, no, we're not there yet.
We're invited though. We're gonna be there.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Got the golden ticket.
I'm coming for you.
Oh, what are you gonna do, brother?
But
that sounded more Scottish than Hulk Hogan. But
so yeah, no, I mean, like I'm all for. Every card deserves a chance, Brad. Like, I know I call cards jank, and I say decks are really, decks are bad or cards are bad.
Oh my god!
Every card deserves a chance.
Clip it.
But like, they're also like, not every card is good, right? So like, television set, I look at it and I read it, and okay, it's pretty bad. Like, all right, we don't we don't need to put it in the deck. We don't need to test it out.
I'm pretty sure
like,
though they like overprinted that card because somehow every pack I open has television.
Has a television
In fact, I'm
set,
sure I
I got
have
3
like
in my
if you want a
steel.
television set, if you're listening, let me know. I got you. Run into it.
Does that
it
apply out of
it's-
context? I would like a new television set. Yes.
It's not
65
even
inches, please.
it's
OLED.
not even worth. It's not even worth the value of shipping. So come see me. I'll give you a television set.
Take a
the card
television set,
That's the
lick a
future of
stamp,
rules of
stick
Villainy
it
prize.
right to the television set, and then write their address on the television
On the
set
card,
and
yeah.
mail the television set itself to them like it's a postcard.
Our next giveaway, let's give away a television set and then just ship them the card.
You gotta put like
villainous.
you gotta put like a Sony OLED TV like in the thumbnail though, giving away television set.
But very, very small text that says you are not
Yeah.
actually you are only getting the Lorcana card.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Like this is the one thing, right, is that overall the rotation is kind of floating over the Reign of Jafar meta, right?
Right.
But I think Andy is right that you
Ignore it.
kind of just gotta like bat it away and you gotta focus on what's ahead of you.
That's fair.
Because there are events. And honestly, we don't know. We're gonna find out in the world's
We're gonna find out about DLCs.
And I think at that point,
our DLC.
it is certainly within the realm of possibility. There could be a Reign of Jafar DLC. I think I'd be a little surprised,
Yeah,
I'd be
doubtful.
surprised.
but it is
Andy
possible.
Andy did bring up a good point though about the whole New World stuff. Like, he's right. Like, it doesn't matter if they know right now if it's getting reprinted or not because it's not going to affect the overall game. But to play devil's advocate, when you said that, I started thinking though a lot of decks are playing with Beyond the Horizon now and experimenting with that card already. Do you think that is a like, I understand it in the discard deck for sure because of the additional discard options, but like Kirsten playing that in her Steel Song instead of Whole New World instead. I know that wasn't her intention, but do you think other people are that is a repercussion of them saying that it's not going to be reprinted, that they're already trying to get a feel for that card now? Or
No, I think ultimately, if you're playing at a competitive level, you're going to play the best card that's available to you whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think in general, people like to experiment with new cards, right? So I know I've met so many people who said, this is my list. I put these couple cards in there because they're new and I want to see how they do, right? That's very common as the set is early. But I think the main value of Horizon, besides the additional discard, is the optionality of it being a 1 or 2-sided. I can discard your whole hand and make you go down to 3, or I can refill my hand to 3, or we can do both, right?
And I forgot that you could do both. And when Kirsten hit me with that at Bodax the other night, I was like, oh, it's not just chosen opponents, it's chosen players. Like, we could both do it. Like, completely threw me for a loop.
So you have
and the active player gets to choose, which makes it a super powerful utility
you have
card.
A full grip of cards, and they play Horizon. You dump your hand, and they get a super dock. Basically, it's the same, as dock, where they but it one more card. So dump their hand, get 3 more, and that optionality, I think, is what makes it much more, appealing than a Whole New World. But like I said, that opponent I played, he was running a little bit lower to the ground Steel Song list, and so he was not able to, he would top out at 5 ink or so, and he was like, man, if this darn Horizon in my hand was a Whole New World, I'd be able to play this, get a whole new hand, and then just empty my hand and force you to have like a B prep or a big Sisu or something.
Right. Yeah.
So
I do think what makes this card particularly valuable though is having that sing together mechanic.
Yes.
Because a lot of Steel Song decks, that 7 is like actually a hard number to get to. So being able to, what's that?
You just sing it on turn 3 with you find it with Ariel and then Cindy and Troubadour. sing it.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Is it
wild.
Disgusting.
It needs though two characters to really sing.
Yep.
You know, whereas you think about other like I feel like this is the one card where like that sing together really matters. There are other cards, sing together cards, I think that have that ability, like a Pirate's Life being one. But
Don't use it
honestly,
as
most
much.
people just
Your new
play it.
Madrigal one is really
Yeah,
good.
I was gonna say that's the one where I feel like it, technically speaking, it matters the most because for every character that sang this, you get a lore and a card, right? So
That's true.
but I get what
That's the
you're
card,
saying.
isn't it?
I get what you're
Or is
saying
it-
here is where this is a card where it's very easy to add up and sing to. It's very easy to sing together this song, given that it's in amber steel in that
Right.
color pair. Whereas a lot of other sing together songs haven't seen as much play, largely because there isn't singer, right? You can't get to it as fast.
Right.
Even a perfect comparison is in Emerald Steel when they play Horizon. Amber Steel can play Horizon on turn 3 with an aerial to try and find one, to look through 4 cards to grab one. Emerald Steel has to play basically Prince John on 3, Muses on 4, and then they can sing that on 5. So it's 2 whole turns. I mean, they could do other stuff. You're right.
They could do it on 4 with a shifted Diablo Ursula.
Right. But the problem is you shift your Diablo and then they use their area, or they use their Cindy or their Troubadour to just,
take it out,
storm it or strength it or something. So like, and I don't want to say guaranteed because obviously your Cindy Troubadour isn't guaranteed. Although Troubadour is pretty darn guaranteed. There's only a few things, only a few hamsters that can take that out. But
little devil.
yeah. So it's mostly the quickness, I think, that Amber can play that really helps that sing.
But I also just think it's one of those songs where, at least in the meta game, that really utilizes the sing together mechanic.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, like other cards do have sing together that get played in the meta. But they just
Pirate's Life.
Yeah, exactly. A Pirate's Life. But you're gonna play a Pirate's Life with
Under
a Maui
the Sea.
half shark, or you can just
Under the Sea.
like
that one
Under
gets
the
played
Sea.
too. Baby,
Does
it's
it?
better. Downwards wetter. Yeah, I played.
Oh yeah, I guess it does.
me.
I haven't seen that deck in a long time, to be honest with you.
So good.
I played it on
Anything
Deck
else you wanna
Test
talk about?
Tuesday a couple days ago.
Did you?
But yeah, I think to sum it up, the meta is incredibly diverse. Triple deck format is the future, and
Maybe question mark.
but really, like, you should take into account some of these more popular ones. Amber Steel was the most popular through the decades. Emerald Steel was second place, I believe. Ruby Sapphire, I want to say, was third. It was right up there. But take them into account. But really, you can probably get away with playing almost anything you want. Brad is rejoicing at how diverse this meta is.
Heck yeah. Until I get paired up against Kirsten and Ron and everybody playing super meta. Given they were practicing. Yeah, Zeus. I bring Red Fossa and just get completely crushed by Brittany's Birds and Kirsten's Steel Song and Ron's Red Blue and
One thing I just want to say would be really funny. We were talking about the Whole New World. We know it's not getting reprinted and Fabled, and so they're doing the Infinity format for us to get it later this year as a promo. Would it be funny that it was reprinted in Whispers in the Well?
Lol. Get dumpstered.
But anyway, let's move on to Villain of the Week. Brad?
All right. Apologies again from Reign
All
of
hail.
Jafar. Our villain of the week this week is Rhino, powerful hamster, 4-cost inkable, amber, super rare, 4 strength, 3 willpower, quests for 2. He is a floodborn and an ally. He shifts for 2 and has the ability Epic Ball of Awesome. While this character has no damage, he gains resist +2. Art by Leonardo Giammichele. I don't know if I've ever pronounced that right. This is their 3rd or 4th time as a villain of the week artist, so I should probably look into that. But guys, can I be real a second? For just a millisecond? Let down my guard and show these people how I feel a second. This hamster sucks, man. I've played this hamster so much in the last week, and he is a pain. Shifting on 2, taking that Robin Hood I talked about in the local meta report here recently, because everybody's playing this hamster. But taking that 2 slot, shifting on, one of the best things I did this past week that made me so happy after a matchup with Dylan over at the collector store was on game 3 or game 2 or 3 of our matchup. He had the hamster, his shift target out on 1, and I had Mulan out. I teethed my own Mulan just to stop that hamster from coming out on turn 2, because at that point of the game, you can't deal with him with that resist +2 on him. No answer to getting that damage on him and making him vulnerable to further damage at that point with the deck that I was playing, at least. He came out and just wrecked my night. Andy, you've had a lot of experience against him. How's that working?
He is an annoying rodent for sure.
Yes. We have a rodent problem. Again, a third time.
But if you think about it realistically, you said, putting damage on him to get rid of that resist, right? But This is an amber card. It's an amber steel card, actually.
Yeah.
So that means that there's a Rapunzel around the corner, potentially.
Yep.
Or I guess a Goofy, if you really want to.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll throw some respect at Pancake Goofy, only because the pancakes are delicious, not because the card is any good.
Got it.
You can't be leaving damage on. So now you're really looking at a task of finding 5 damage to deal to this rhino, all at once, and it is not easy. It's not easy at all. Typically, I will have to use 2 characters. I'll have to send someone in to remove the resist. So do like 3 damage to the rhino with something like a snake, or even do 2 damage with something like a fox. And then you have to finish it off with something like a Peter Pan to do the last 2 damage. So 2 characters. Obviously, Maui works fairly nice, but Zeus is really the biggest answer. The biggest thing is that like all of these cards, not really Goofy, but Rhino, Turtle Boy, the Troubadour, Cindy, Ariel, this Horizon, Storm, Strength, Zeus, all of these, like the answer is usually themselves, right? So like you say, oh well, I shift Rhino on 2. The answer to a shift Rhino on 2 is my own shifted Rhino on 2 that then sings a Zeus to take out your Rhino that you shifted. But obviously, if they have the Zeus, then like your Rhino is in danger, right? Or like Brad said, we are almost at a point like Diablo, right? When it's Emerald Steel, you have confidence that you can take out small Diablo to prevent the shift of big Diablo when necessary. With Emerald Amethyst, you don't necessarily have that luxury because they have so many stinking little burbs that they can shift onto. But we're almost to a point where it's like, well, do you take out the little rhino, right? So I play little rhino, you play little rhino. I shift big rhino. I'm gonna sing Storm, Strength. I'm gonna take out your little rhino. I guess Storm. It has to be Storm or Zeus, but it's a really strong card that doesn't. It's very unfair when it is on the board at 2, and I think one of its biggest upsides is that at 4 cost, it's really not that bad. Like it's honestly still very good. So even if you don't play it on 2, like when Brad said he threw away his Mulan. He spent turn 1 and turn 2, got 1 lore, and took out a rhino, and then on turn 4 he still had to deal with the rhino.
Yeah, it took away his entire turn 2, which was fantastic. But as the game progressed and he did his Steel Song aggro stuff, the rhino, like you said, the rhino just came back out, and then everything that followed it. He played aerial before it, finding a song, and then they were really good matchups. I felt good. Ruby Fossa has felt good. It's just been on the losing end here the last few nights, and but. Yeah, this hamster is so good. And this is a card that Dad Kana told me about. Dad Kana and Linz both big Mufasa pioneers here in Disney Lorcana. And he's like, preset, he's like, this new Rhino card is cracked, dude. If you got to move from Ruby Fossa to Steel Fossa, because he, I got the warning ahead of time and I didn't really appreciate it until now that I've seen him in action to see what he can actually do. But yeah,
really good.
He's really, really good. What do you think, Vince?
I saw this played in the matches on Monday at game night. Yeah. And I think what really strikes me about this card in particular is like when you play it on 2 for shifting on the little rhino, is it's just so hard to remove, especially like in the mirror matches that you're thinking about, like that Andy was kind of going through, because you have to basically have a board in order to use something like strength. So strength is kind of an out option for you early on in the game.
You have to have 5 people on board to use that strength.
Yeah. Then you need and then storm, useless on this. So a lot of
hard.
Well, yeah.
I'm being silly, but it's gross. It's
right.
Gross.
So a lot of those optionalities that you have, and then it kind of, as Andy was talking about, like even later in the game, this card is still really good. A 4 inkable card that is 4/3 and quests for 2. It's still a challenge to even really remove later on in the game, and at 4 cost, even if you get to quest with it once, or you get to use it to sing something like Zeus, which, by the way, this artist did the enchanted version of the Zeus. So great little like artists synergy there. You're getting your value, even if like Andy says, you take a Maui to this and stuff. So
Maui does survive, but I did find that Iago with Rush only puts 2 damage on it. So then you still have to send something else into it.
So gross.
Yeah.
But I can say that if you have 2 sapphire coils out along with a fishbone, and you ink for turn, and you sapphire coil 2 of the 3 rhinos, and then you ink with the fishbone to sapphire coil the 3rd rhino and the Lawrence that they had. And
I just want to be clear, you've totally like there's like the things you see in like television where like the math is like being written out over you. That's exactly what I feel like.
I did this to Kirsten today.
Today? I thought this was on Deck Test Tuesday. It was on stream. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was like, "What was that? Wait, what? What? No." And she was just goes, "What?"
She literally says, "If you can deal with my board here, you'll win the game." And you were like, "Okay,
She's like, "I doubt you'll be able to deal with my board or stop me from winning the game next turn or whatever." And I was like, "All right, bet."
And that's what you did?
Yeah, I had 2 coils out with a fishbone, and I double inked, so I got 4 coil triggers, and I targeted 3 rhinos and a Lawrence, and then she had like a daisy and some other stuff, and then I played Under the Sea, which got rid of every single thing except for the Pete.
Except Pete, yep.
Yeah, yep. And I was like, screw that Pete, this stinky Pete, that's fine. And then I came back to win that game. She was not happy about it.
It was disgusting. The chat was going crazy. But yeah, that's on the channel. If you guys want to check that out, Deck Test Tuesday from this past Tuesday night. I can even go in and timestamp that for you. I'll try to do that before this episode airs. But very, very cool. This card, it's like we're gonna be talking about it for a while. It won the aggro version of Amber Steel, as Andy talked about earlier at the Through the Decades tournament. This card was a premier card in that deck, and the fact that
along
It's
with
just
Pluto.
not Pluto. You can put this
Pluto,
not goofy. But you can put this in any Amber Steel deck. Like it seems like all the versions of Amber Steel that exist currently, and you're gonna find value. The fact that it's inkable, even quests for 2, hits for 4, resist +2 on play until you can damage it. Like it's gross, man. There was a point Friday night against Dylan where he played 2 in a row late in the game, and I'm like, what am I gonna do about that? Like I'm nothing.
I think it was
what
on
about
stream.
the artist?
I was gonna say, I think it was real quick. I think it was on stream that I played Penny on the Rhino.
Yeah.
And so I knew Kirsten had a Zeus in hand, and she was gonna Zeus my Rhino. So I played Penny to give Rhino 1 more resist, so to resist +3, and you couldn't be Zeus. And I did that 2 turns in a row. Oh,
And that's what we're talking about with the dual link synergy, man. Like all of these cards were made to do that kind of stuff, and I think that's
Disgusting.
really cool. Yeah.
But let's talk about the artist.
Yeah, Vince wanted to go on to the artist. This is not our first time talking about Leonardo's work. He has 34 cards in the game. The one enchanted that we talked about already was the Along Came Zeus, former villain of the week. I don't know if Big Tammy's ever been villain of the week, but the 2 of the most important cards on here, Hiram Flaversham in our Hall of Fame, as well as the Potato Captain. Not a villain of the week, but very much a mascot here at Rules of Villainy. The other one was Lucky Dime that we did very early on in the podcast, but lots of cool cards here. 34, as I said, to be exact. Go check them out. You can get on Dreamboard and look it up by the artist, and a lot of good stuff in there.
Have we never done Tamatoa? They're so shiny.
I don't think so. Let me pull it up really quick.
Well, Leo, my buddy, Leonardo, Leo, we're friends. If you're listening, hit me up. We can teach Brad how to pronounce your surname, and we would love to chit chat or collab or just feature more of your art. Done a lot of great work.
And I will have, as always, their Instagram and art website. I think it's ArtStation probably. Yeah, it's his ArtStation website in the description below. So definitely go check it out. To answer Vince's question, the only Tamatoa we have done as week was last set. We never did Big Tammy.
Oh, happy Tammy we did. Yeah. You cut out there, Brad. Tammy. Sorry.
So we did. Sorry. I'm sorry. No. We did. I'm beautiful, baby.
Tammy. I'm beautiful, baby. And that's it. That's it for Villain of the Week.
Let us know your thoughts on Villain of the Week. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you're joining us on audio, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Yes, I'm talking about you, that one Pandora listener.
Don't be mean, Vince. If you're joining us on YouTube, which if you're not, you really should, unless you can't because you're that one Pandora listener, be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell. Check out all of our additional content. We've got Deck Test Tuesday. We've got the Meta Report. And we sometimes do live streams. We do all kinds of fun stuff. So come hang out with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and we understand your time is valuable, so we appreciate you spending a little bit of it with us. If you would like to follow along as we plot our devious plans, consider following us on our socials. We're on Instagram, Blue Sky, and the platform formerly known as Twitter, @RulesOfVillainy. And we also have a growing community on Discord, which you can join with the link below.
I'm not so sure we understand their time is valuable given how long this podcast goes on, but we do try. And until next week, stay safe, fellow villains. Be wary of wannabe heroes who want to disrupt your villainous plans. And as always, remember the rules of villainy.